Hi everyone, Todd Caldecott here. Welcome to my video blog. If you have been paying attention to the news media as of late, you might have noticed that the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer recently classified red meat and processed meat as probable carcinogens. This places many people's favorite foods, such as bacon, in the same category as toxic chemicals, such as N-nitrosodimethylamine, or NDMA, an industrial waste product that is highly toxic, used to induce cancer in experimental animals. It boggles the mind that such a food as bacon could be placed in the same category as NDMA, which is highly toxic even in tiny amounts. But this is not too surprising, considering that this is the same scientific panel that also classified coffee and other caffeine-containing beverages, such as yerba mate, as probable carcinogens. Likewise, the IARC has also classified UVB as a probable carcinogen, despite the fact that we require UVB to promote the synthesis of vitamin D3 in our skin, a nutrient which itself has been associated with a protective effect against cancer. Partly these issues have arisen because the science itself contains some key problems. All of the data from the IRAC working group used to evaluate red meat and processed meat are derived from epidemiological studies. While epidemiological research is important, it has its limitations, as evidenced by the axiom, association does not imply causation. For example, if most people who eat red meat eat it sandwiched between two halves of a white flour bun, smeared with sugary sweet condiments, and accompanied by a large sugary soft drink and deep-fried French fries, is it accurate to attribute any association of health issues with the red meat alone? So is red meat really unhealthy? Consider the fact that the First Nations peoples, including the Blackfoot, Cheyenne, Lakota, and Cree, all subsisted on bison, a red meat, as a staple for thousands of years, and from all accounts, experienced a high degree of health. Which brings us to bacon. Is it really so bad for you as the World Health Organization suggests? Consider for a moment that bacon is a relatively ancient food and has long been a staple of European cuisine. There is evidence of bacon consumption as early as the Roman period, and in the UK, described in the writings of Geoffrey Chaucer. Not just for flavor, but the virtues of bacon have also been described in the history of medicine. When the Black Plague hit the UK in 1665, it raged across the country to the little village of Ayam, where many people succumbed to the illness. One of the few to survive was a woman named Margaret Blackwell, who was in the final stages of the plague, when, suffering from a raging thirst, she drank a jug of bacon fat, mistaking it for milk. She later made a swift recovery, thoroughly convinced that it was the bacon fat that had saved her life. Bacon is remarkable stuff. Taken from the fattier cuts of pork, most people don't realize that a great deal of the fatty acid content of bacon fat is oleic acid, the heart-healthy omega-9 fat also found in olive oil. Yes, compared to olive oil, bacon fat does contain more saturated fat, but almost half its fat content is oleic acid. Apart from the purported health benefits of oleic acid, you might also recall that olive oil is relatively delicate and cannot tolerate a cooking temperature beyond a medium heat before it starts to smoke, which is a good indication that the fats are rapidly becoming oxidized. Thus, one of the major issues with bacon, which is no doubt reflected in the research, is that most people overcook it. Here I have a piece of thick-cut raw bacon, and after weighing it out, it comes to about 44 grams. If I cook the bacon the way most people do, until it is dry and hard, we can see that the resulting piece of bacon now weighs in at about 8 grams, meaning that we have lost 36 grams as bacon grease. Now, if you spend $20 on a kilogram of bacon, and if you cook the bacon in this fashion, you will end up throwing out about $16.40 as waste. Not only is this wasteful, it defies the original purpose of eating bacon, which is to provide you with a high-fat food that will provide you with food energy for hours. Perfect for breakfast. But the big issue is what happens to the bacon when you overcook it. Remember, all fatty acids are relatively delicate and sensitive to heat, and no less so than monounsaturated fatty acids like oleic acid. Overcooking the bacon is not only wasteful, it damages the delicate fats and creates advanced lipooxygenation end products, or ALEs. These are potent free radicals that destabilize cell membranes and cause inflammation, promoting hormonal dysregulation, vascular disease, and cancer. Consider for a moment the hard, friable nature of overcooked bacon, and now consider what happens in atherosclerosis, when the lining of the arteries becomes damaged and essentially takes on a similar texture as overcooked bacon. Remember, you are what you eat. Overcooking bacon also leads to the inducement of a Maillard reaction, a chemical reaction between an amino acid and a sugar under the influence of heat. This results in the production of glycotoxins, also known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, which have been linked to chronic inflammation, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, and neurodegeneration. AGEs are also a major mechanism of aging, including wrinkling skin. To worsen the issue, cooking bacon to the point where you start to see a brown color suggests the formation of heterocyclic amines, toxic compounds that have been linked to breast, colorectal, and prostate cancer. So, if you love bacon and want to avoid the increased risk of cancer, learn how to cook it properly. This means using nothing higher than a medium temperature to cook the bacon, and only cook it until the meat starts to turn a little golden. Yes, this golden color provides for flavor and will create some of the potentially cancer-causing compounds we're worried about, but not so much that the body can't easily deal with them. The idea here is to make sure to cook the bacon long enough to kill any foodborne pathogens, but not so long that it becomes dry and hard. Just look how tender and pliable the properly cooked bacon is compared to the overcooked bacon. Not only that, but when the properly cooked bacon is weighed, compared to the overcooked bacon that weighs in at about 8 grams, this piece retains more than half its weight at 25 grams per slice, giving you more food energy and better value for your dollar. Which brings me to my last point. The health of your body is only going to be as healthy as the food you eat. Eating bacon produced from factory farm hogs fed a substandard diet comprised of feeds such as corn, which is exceptionally high in pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids, should be avoided. Thus, I encourage you to buy all your meat, including bacon, from producers and butchers that specialize in pasture-raised produce, which normalizes the distorted ratio of essential fatty acids in the meat to a natural ratio that reflects our biological need. With all this in mind, I think that eating bacon, even on a regular basis, can be a safe practice. Just remember not to overcook it. Okay? Until next time. See you later.